Will the market go up or down? Should you lock in or float? Find out this and more with Master of the Markets, hosted by Barry Habib of MBS Highway. Brought to you by Paramount Residential Mortgage Group.
Welcome to another edition of Master of the Markets. I'm Barry Habib, and MBS Highway's created exclusively for NMP TV. That's brought to you by our good friends at PRMG, who are working for your best interest. Well, this can be a big volatile week. It is jobs week, and that can always cause markets to move in a big, meaningful way. Now, mortgage-backed securities have been volatile of late, and this week should be no exception. Now, one of the things that we saw happen last week is we had the initial jobless claims numbers, and that came out showing that pandemic unemployment assistance, the people that were on that, as well as the emergency assistance, that dropped dramatically. So here's what's probably going to happen. Those folks are going to be looking for jobs. Now, because there's a big shortage of workers, many of them will find jobs. So here's what you might see. You might see job creations increase, but those folks that were receiving benefits and not looking for jobs for the last 4 weeks prior to that, they now might be counted as unemployed. So at the same time, this would be the first time this ever happened, job numbers increase a lot, but unemployment numbers at the same time increase. How the market digests that is going to be interesting to see, and it promises to be an exciting volatile week. Keep track of that with us on MBS Highway. We will navigate those crazy waters for you and help you with some really good decisions as to how to advise your customers on locking and floating, just like we did prior to the big drop that you saw. Everyone was protected. Now, there was quite a bit of housing data, and one of the reports was pending home sales. It's a finger on the pulse that talks about how many contracts, signed contracts on existing homes. Existing homes represents 85% of the market, and signed contracts, it's a more recent number. You know, if it's closed data, that's going to reflect what happened a couple of months prior to that. So this gives you a read, and it was very strong. In fact, it was up 8% month over month, and showing that, hey, the housing numbers, even though inventory is down about 13%, even though prices, according to the last appreciation numbers, are up 20% from a year ago, sales are still strong. Now, if you look at the year-over-year numbers, that's going to show, based upon really strong comps from a year ago, that it looks like it's down. But we had some craziness there. The beginning of 2020 sales went way down, then they kind of ramped up to some extraordinary levels. So a year-over-year comp isn't going to give you a good read. That's why we look 2 years ago when the markets were more normal. And compared to 2 years ago, sales today, even though prices are much higher and inventory is much lower, has overcome those challenges, and sales are actually greater than they were 2 years ago. This all speaks to the strength of the housing market. Now, I mentioned values going up 20% year over year. That's a lot. We hope it cools, and there's the first sign that it might cool. Now, not go down in price, but appreciation stops accelerating, because FHFA, which measures appreciation on homes with a conforming loan amount, so they tend to be slightly lower than the overall numbers. For the first time, appreciation on that in a very long time was actually a little less, not much less, 19% compared to 20% overall market. That means that maybe, just maybe, the lower end of the marketplace is starting to tap the brakes just a little bit on how much they're willing to chase. Doesn't mean prices go down, but I think that this signals to us that the acceleration in appreciation is probably slowing down. Look, you got to keep track on all this stuff with us on MBS Highway. If you aren't doing so, I don't know what you're waiting for. You're waiting for your competition to just beat you and take transactions away from you and your family? Or are you going to fight back and have the best tool in the market in order to win more transactions and be of much greater value as an advisor? Stop selling, start advising, get on MBS Highway. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Be sure to click on the link below for your free 30-day MBS Highway trial.